not going to allow Donald Trump to wreck the rule of law, to deny people due process, and to turn our country into something that doesn't meet its obligations under international law. And so I just engaged in that tradition of accompaniment, of trying to bear witness, of trying to walk peacefully with someone, of trying to make sure that the rules are followed.
That was New York City Comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander Tuesday, after being released from federal custody hours after his arrest at an immigration court where he tried to escort a migrant whom officers were attempting to arrest. Yesterday, he was back at the immigration court trying to help other migrants as masked agents lined the hallways ready to arrest them. We're joined now by Comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander. Our team has requested interviews with mayoral candidates Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani, but haven't heard back. Comptroller Lander, thank you very much for coming to The Weekend. Just right off the bat, tell us about your experience back at the immigration court there in New York City.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. So I've done this 4 times now, and Tuesday was the 3rd. You sit in the immigration hearing, try to give people a little bit of know your rights information. They have no lawyers. They have no idea what is going on. They even think when the government moves, when Department of Homeland Security moves to dismiss their cases, maybe that's good. But really what is happening is they're being stripped of status. And once they leave the courtroom, they may well be grabbed by a gang of non-uniformed masked ICE agents lurking in the elevator lobby. It is really Orwellian. So you try to just explain to them what's happening and then walk with them. And I'll say I've done it now 10 times. And 7 times I was able to get in the elevator and get folks out of the building. One of the best feelings I have ever had, when those families can go back to their homes and their families and their communities. Unfortunately, these 4 other times, you see what happened. And in this case, I was just hoping to get Edgardo to be able to leave the building. And instead, they grabbed and detained him, grabbed and detained me. They kept me 4 hours, but let's be clear, he is still in ICE detention, essentially being disappeared.
You are accused by DHS of assaulting law enforcement and impeding a federal officer. Have you seen any formal charges filed against you? Have they said that they're going to file charges against you?
They have not brought charges, but they say that the case remains under review. And I'm honored to follow Senator Padilla. This is gaslighting. Anyone can see on the video that I don't lay hands on a federal official. I don't assault anyone. So for DHS to put out that statement.
Your hand was on Edgardo, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely. The video's right out there for everyone to see. They got hands on me, but I do not have hands on them. But this is part of that authoritarian tactic. They want to be aggressive and violent, and then they want to put out, we can do whatever we want, and even say things that are patently untrue. And if we can do that to a 50-something white male elected official with a U.S. passport, we could do it to anyone.
I know you mentioned Edgardo, but I just want to make sure people understand where is Edgardo right now?
Yeah. So Edgardo is in ICE detention. We're not sure in exactly what facility. The locator that's supposed to help families find people is often not updated or not working. People have been kept at 26 Federal Plaza, which has no beds and no facilities, for 5 or 6 days. We are connecting his family to a lawyer, so hopefully he will be represented soon. But the vast majority of people that we're talking about that have been grabbed and detained by ICE don't have lawyers at all. Many of their families can't find them.
One of the things that we've talked about a lot on this show is this escalation that we've seen, whether it is Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, LaMonica McIver, the congresswoman who's been indicted for, alleged, according to the federal officials, assaulting an ICE officer, whether it's you or whether it's Senator Alex Padilla, this increase in these kind of roughing up of officials, throwing officials to the ground, arresting and detaining them in some way, shape, or form. Do you worry about that the genie's kind of out of the bottle here, that we can't come back from that? And what does that mean for this country?
This is our challenge right now. I mean, as Senator Padilla said, Attorney General Pam Bondi has said out loud she's trying to, quote, liberate Democratic cities from their elected officials. That is, another way of saying the federal government is trying to undermine the rule of law and democratic practices. And the challenge for us is that we have to find ways to insistently show up for people's rights and the rule of law and due process, and we've got to do it in ways that de-escalate, because we don't want to give Trump excuses to send in the National Guard. I will say that is the nonviolent tradition that we have. That is going into court and bearing witness. That is walking peacefully with folks who have the right to seek asylum for fear of persecution. So I do hope, Senator Padilla talked about what people can do. Another thing people can do is be what's called a friend of the court. I did it with this organization, Immigrant Arc, but there's other groups that do it around the country. You have the right to go sit in those immigration hearing rooms, to give know your rights information to these folks who lack lawyers, and to participate in that tradition of nonviolent, insistent, peaceful, but clear resistance to creeping authoritarianism.
In the less than a minute that we have left, real quickly, as we mentioned, you are a candidate for mayor of New York City. About a week ago, you and someone else running for mayor, Mr. Mamdani, you endorsed each other in the mayor's race. Real fast, why'd you do that? Why the cross endorsement?
New York City has ranked choice voting, so you can rank one candidate first, another second. Zohran Mamdani and I agree that Andrew Cuomo was a corrupt governor, is a corrupt candidate, would be a corrupt and abusive mayor, should be nowhere near City Hall. I think Assemblyman Mamdani is a person of decency and integrity. He thinks the same of me. We cross-endorsed. I hope people will rank me first on Tuesday, rank him second, that one of us will win the mayor's office, and we'll keep Andrew Cuomo. Let's send him back to the suburbs where he really lives.
Tuesday is primary day in New York City. Brad Lander, Comptroller of New York City, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Again.